Welcome, welcome, welcome. 2022 YMSL.
We are back.
We are back with a new addition over here. This is my nephew now, Elliot Saka.
Take time to get used to that.
Yes, you'll be calling me uncle as well as
Hello.
Kamish. Thank you, El. And Saul, of course, on my left hand over here. Saul, how you doing?
Doing well. Norm, we are live in the Saka apartment.
Yes,
here.
we are. Saka, thank you for having us.
Pleasure.
Of course, the YMSL studio is under renovations, which is why we're not there now.
And due to Corona supply chain shortages, we are a little behind schedule on those renovations, but should be ready for opening day, which is March 27th.
Wow.
Opening day.
Very soon.
Too soon.
We have Fireman's Field. We have the racetrack partially. Everyone should be happy about this. We will have certain weeks back at Memorial on Grant Avenue, which by all accounts is the best field. I mean, that field
Great
is
field.
phenomenal.
Beautiful
Memorial
field.
One's the best field.
Memorial
both,
1
not
is
Memorial
phenomenal.
2 is a garden.
Oh boy.
And
It's like
Memorial 2, we are hoping
No good.
seriously,
No
with our
good.
renovations, we're hoping that we could renovate that field and get it to a better level than it's ever been before. So that's what we're hoping for.
There's two in there.
Yes, because you want to play together on a field that has two games
do,
at the same
yes.
time.
You do.
Boys, what are we doing here today besides seeing El Saka's new apartment? Mabruk, by the way.
Thank you,
We
Noah.
are here to announce the 8 captains. One of them we already know, world champion Joe Eschko Eshkenazi. He pulled off some trades. He went through a phenomenal 5-team format playoff run. He won the playoff game, the play-in game. He then swept the number 1 seed 2 days later, and then just rode a magical trail to the championship. Joe Eschko, formerly of the Knights, is now back yet again as a captain in the YMSL.
Great. When was the last time a captain repeated as captain won the World Series twice?
I don't think it ever happened.
As a captain, repeating it's very hard. You go back to
Call
Stevie
Stevie
Shalom.
Shalom,
Yeah,
yeah.
you go back to his father. He definitely repeated Armed Forces
Golden
after the
Jets.
Golden Jets. Yes, and then there was also
Way back.
Elliot Braha repeated as a captain, I believe, as well. Mo Shama, I'm sure, has repeated. But many of his years, I don't know if he was officially captain or not.
Point is, he's looking to do something that very few can say they've accomplished.
Yes. Someone who did go back to back, by the way, this year, in center field no less, is David Farka. And for the first time, as a captain in
Wow.
YMSL, after coming off a triple crown with butter, a world championship with swimming, and a world championship with Knights, in which he had some of the biggest hits each and every season, David Farka is a
Wow.
YMSL captain.
Overdue.
I love that.
It's
That
great.
is
Great.
well deserved. Well deserved.
He's
I
going to be
mean,
great.
Even like in hit arounds, sharing the outfield with this guy, he knows every single player. He knows their tendencies. He knows where to hit, and he always says in that preseason hit around, I wish I was a captain. You know, I would have picked the best team. He knows everybody in this league. He knows their tendencies.
I agree with you. I think as a student of the game, he knows how people swing. I remember when he was on Jigga's team on swimming, he was telling me the technical difficulties that the great 6'1" was having at the
Great
time
6'1".
before Jigga just exploded in the second half of that season and the postseason. But he knows how people swing. He knows where they hit. He knows the league, and there's nobody.
He has a championship formula.
It's crazy. Nobody in this league has had bigger postseason hits than he has in the last couple of years.
For
I
sure.
mean, you're talking home runs in 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th to
Doesn't
tie
get great
playoff
at that.
games.
Right over. Right center field.
So-
Excellent.
So-
Great for the league.
We just
Farka-
watched that. We watched that a few days ago.
Yes, we did. We had to get our juices flowing, so
Yes,
we
we got
watched
the
the
juices
season
flowing.
recap, and it was great. So David Farka, a first-time captain. Do you want me to go to another first-time captain or a returning captain or?
Let it rip.
Let it fly.
Let it fly.
Okay, I'm going to give you a returning captain over
Okay.
here. Should be no surprise. He had the number 1 team last year until the playoffs. But a guy that everyone loves to play for, a guy that knows the league inside and out and just pours it all out on the field. Dano
Great.
Towell,
Excellent.
a captain yet again.
Dano looking for that World Series since the Orioles in
The Rift.
2018.
Yeah, since the
Since the
breakup.
awesome guy, awesome captain. I mean, you see the videos we have of him, pumping up his team. You see the team he created. I remember going back all the way to draft day. He did something that we didn't expect. He didn't take his boys, he didn't take his friends. He took the best guys available. He discovered, for all intents and purposes, Eddie Harari on the mound.
He did.
I mean, you gotta assume Eddie's gonna go a lot higher than he did last year. And another thing I'll add, I think Dano took the best out of his players. Like obviously his players overperformed. I mean, they were the number 1 seed, but some captains have the ability to turn their team into something more than they are.
He had a phenomenal vibe on that team. He had Edmund hitting home runs every week
on the MVP ballot.
Yeah, he had he had an excellent infield. He had Joe G in the outfield. He was just it was a very good and fun team to be around. He had T.I. up the middle,
yes,
and Lee Z at second base.
And there was just question marks with Dano about his drafting after the Maxi D trade up last year.
I wanted to mention
that. All haters.
So first, he was just known as a rah-rah guy. He's good at the field, but he can't draft a team.
Right.
Last year, he drafted.
That's what JT was for.
Yeah, he drafted the number 1 team, and then he didn't get it done in the playoffs. I should note that he was leading in the 16th inning of a playoff game, and they ended up giving up 2 in the bottom of the first.
One better jump in right field. That's not a home run. One execute a pickle. I mean, we coach our 10th graders. We teach them how to get.
What about the bad call that opened up the bottom of the 16th inning? A guy bang play. Yeah. Then there was the ejection and all that. So far we have Dano, we have Joe Eschko, and we have Farka. Beautiful roster.
3 for 3.
Excellent.
Okay, coming back again, and this was interesting. He was a captain last year. Very hard to judge his captainship because his team was ravaged by injuries. But it should be noted, he never missed the playoffs until he was a captain. We are talking about the perennial first-round pick, Nathan Naby.
Really?
Wow.
Many thought he would not get this second chance.
That's a shocker, Norm.
I too was shocked. I'll be honest, he didn't get sweeping endorsements from the committee, but he eked in, let's say.
Right.
He eked in. He really wanted a second chance. You have to remember he did get a ton of injuries. He traded for Beta, he got injured. Joe Chira he replaced, he got injured. And it just kept happening over and over again. What do you think?
The only thing I'll add, because obviously we know Naby is the premier pitcher in this league. The only thing I'll add is that I think, I'm surprised. I'm not saying that, I'm glad he's getting a second shot at redemption, but what he did last year, I hope he scraps that completely. I mean, he took a team that his whole mantra was, I want to be a captain so I can pick my team. I can have my players and that
my hitters.
And that
my never had hitters.
And then my team isn't discounted by the fact that a captain, sacrificed their whole draft to get me. Now you have me, but you drafted only defense. Didn't make any sense.
It was a puzzling draft because there were two-way players that he could have gotten that play defense and bring a bat. And he just drafted a team that on day one, I'm looking at the team and I said, I don't see where they're scoring runs.
Doesn't make sense.
He has to do better with the draft, so this will be his last time captaining.
Papa Lewis coming back.
Papa Lewis coming back. He really wanted another chance. You have to give him the benefit that they did have much more injuries than the rest of the league. But is Nathan a better pitcher when he's just pitching and not captaining? He had success when Max Sutton was captain, and when he's captain himself, he missed the playoffs. Nate B.
I think his best shot is to scrap what happened last year, start over. You got to go with the Dano model. You got to look at the board and you got to say, I just want the best team. Because for all intents and purposes,
you made a few reaches
1 week into the season, your team is your family. Right. Doesn't matter who you're friends with, who you're not. We'll talk after.
Right.
But that becomes, whether or not you knew the guy or you were best friends for 20 years or you never knew the guy at all, your team is your team. You rally around.
He made the mistake that Elsack made 3 years ago when he drafted all the Sackers in town.
Every Sacka, including
Grandma Brenda, like Sabah.
Brenda was on the team, everyone else.
The fan Mean Machine.
Yes, Mean Machine. It was a terrible
Westfield was shut down during any game.
10-year banishment from captainhood after that.
And I remember when he became captain, and I said, I
hope
you're not a puppet for Jeffrey. And then he drafted everybody that Jeffrey wanted him to draft, and it was just a disaster. Nate B did that last year. He drafted his Uncle Steven. Uncle Steven has retired.
Whoa.
Uncle Steven has retired, and they now call him Auntie Steven. They are killing him in the Batesh household. They are killing him.
I can't believe it.
He got remarried. His wife wants him to play, but he wants to spend time in the city and go to Solo and do that whole
Wow.
thing. He's a newlywed again, so I guess I
think
get
by
it.
week 2 here, you're gonna be getting that text. Get me back in the league.
First guy injured.
It's gonna be the Celine Levy thing where
It'll
he
be,
quits.
it'll be Sunday 11 a.m. He'll be for brunch. It'll be like, Norm, get me out of here.
He might be at every game watching. Maybe you never know. Coming back for another year. What fun it was covering this captain as he started in the doldrums, 0-4, made a spectacular trade and brought his team up to the moon.
Mooners.
None other than
My boy.
Mo Haber.
So good.
Great
So
captain.
good. Great to rally behind. He pumps you up. You wanna run through a wall for him. All he wants to do is win.
All.
That's a fact. All he wants to do
He
is win.
wanted to be captain the first year and the second year, and he got denied, but he stayed patient, he stayed persistent. He didn't give up on his dream to become a captain yet again like he was in the previous era. And he came back last year, and it looked terrible. It looked like a big mistake, but then he traded for Bub, he traded for Elliot Sacazolta, and who was the other guy in that trade? Carlos, he traded away. Come on, Elsac.
Who was in the trade?
You,
Eschko.
Bub, and Jackie Eschko. Yes.
Yeah, saved us from the god-awful Orange tribe, Cherokee's tribe.
Yes.
Happy to get off of that roster.
A.B. Saka is not a captain, by the way, so he wrote in the side.
I think it's good for him. I think it's
Well,
good
you're
for
right.
him.
I don't
He
want.
wrote, if you put me as captain, I am moving away, or something like
AB's great to play for, but he wanted to focus on the pitching.
I wonder where he'll go in the draft now that he's. We get to reset his draft value now.
Yes.
I think he's going to be so good this year now
I
that he
think so
doesn't
also.
have to manage a team anymore.
I think he's
Comeback.
gonna be great.
It's gonna be a comeback year for Abe. I hope. He's a great guy to have.
Him and Eddie are going to be interesting. I don't know who takes one over the other. I don't know how you judge that.
Right.
Also,
Question is,
World
is there
Series
gonna be a run on
last year, you had
pitchers?
pitcher 7 against pitcher 8.
Yes.
What is it? There's so many variables.
Sure.
So many variables going on.
It's amazing. You really got to build a full team from the draft. You need to get lucky. You need to have a good vibe. You need to do everything.
Not easy to win.
I'm going to give you a new guy.
Hold on. Who was just announced? Just
We just
Mo
announced
Haber,
Mo Haber.
excellent. I played with him
Excellent.
last year. You're getting Monday 8-minute voice note.
Yeah.
Like fully entrenched.
Yeah,
what a
yeah,
guy
yeah.
to play with.
And if
Sure.
you listen to the whole voice note, you'll get at least 1 or 2 words that you laugh at how he pronounces
He's
them.
great.
Like random
What a guy to
words.
play. I
And
love
no
to
one
play.
does more research than Maurice Haber. If you have a scouting one, there's a new guy. I think he'll call the entire world
Call
until he
anybody.
figures out
Pure
how
passion.
to play.
But you
Your
know
passion.
what? Dano's doing research.
Of course.
David Farka is doing
The
research.
league is no joke.
Yeah,
Everyone
it's-
wants to win. It's the talk
that's
of the town.
that's barrier to entry. You have to do your research.
You know who
Yeah.
also does a ton of research?
Go ahead.
He was punished, dare I say punished, for a minimum of a year because we didn't like something that he pulled with his son.
I want to show the thing. Yeah.
But he's back after he's been a great soldier in the league forever. He's just a great person for the league, and he knows softball better than anybody, and he does his research as well. Maximus Maxwell Sutton
Wow.
is back after a brief hiatus as
Very
captain.
interesting. Could we get a health update on Max Sutton? Last
I
I
spoke
checked,
with him
last
last
I
week.
checked, he was crawling to second
Max
base.
is down 30 pounds. I spoke
Really?
with him last week in the gym 4 times a week. And he said he's pumped.
How's
He's
the
pumped
leg?
to
He had,
hear.
he had a real leg injury.
I didn't ask him, but he said he's down 30 pounds.
When you're overweight, everything stops working the way it's supposed to work, and that's the bottom line. Because your body is holding and carrying and doing too much.
Right.
When you're at the proper playing weight, you could do crazy things. Now Max, even when he was out of shape last year, and I'm not saying anything he hasn't told all of us, but even when he was out of shape last year, you know how many big hits this guy got for the Knights down the
Millions.
stretch?
Ridiculous.
In
Couldn't even get to first base. He was hitting it
In
over
the
left
playing
field.
game, he had the biggest hit of the
Couldn't
game.
really
to
get
win
the
the
first
game.
for other reasons last year because he was carrying.
By the way, Max also just yesterday became a father yet again as his wife.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Delivered
Really?
a healthy baby boy. So
that.
congratulations to Max.
So you're bullish on Max Sutton as cap. Seems like you're bullish.
I always liked Max as captain. I didn't like when he made the trade, when he picked up his son to be a catcher, and then he made a trade and moved his son to third base, and his son was
that
the
was
best.
Joe G's injury year, but we had to make a move out. Well, you were on that trade.
I appreciate.
I was in that trade. Well, the writing was on the wall there.
Right.
I saw it happening. I said it was going to happen, then it happened. It seemed like why would you put your kid at catcher if he's in phenomenal field?
I thought Max was going to be retired as a captain. Won it last year as
a player.
I speak with Max a lot.
Maybe let's dip the whole boxing, wrestling thing. Can we get a new concept with the team name? Because nobody knows it. Nobody
he
knows
used to do Beatles songs, and he went away from
Magical
that.
Mystery
He-
Tour.
yeah.
Helter Skelter.
That's when he
I've
scouted
been playing
you.
with Max for 10 years.
How is he to play for?
Max I have nothing bad to say about Max. He's excellent captain to play for, does his research. You're going to play with Max. There's no playing time issues for the people at the bottom of the draft. He does his research, he knows the game, and he's going to get everyone involved. Is he a rah-rah like Dano where you're going to have guys jumping over the fence?
But you want to win for him. You want to win.
You want to win for him. But at the
him.
same time, you had that guy. You need some energy. I mean, he does lack a little bit of the energy.
Oh, well, then he's got to... He was in that think tank of the Knights. He was in that captain's chat, let's say.
He knows every player, same like Farka. This guy is one of the highest IQ players in the league.
And it's hard to mess with his record. He has won the championship. He always gets to the playoffs. He doesn't let something like a bad field, conditions, rain, none of that will get to his team. They'll play.
It's like bringing back a 36-year-old quarterback for 1 to 2 years as like a stopgap match.
Well, wait till you hear the next guy.
Hold
I'll
on.
bring it back. Wait till you hear this
Like
one.
signing like Josh McCown for like 2 years,
Do you
I'll bring
think
back my
Max-
Canada next. Wait till you hear this
Do you
one.
think Max is going to try to play shortstop on his new team?
No.
He last year he knew his role, and that's something about Max also. He's not going to put himself ahead of the team.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
He also has flexibility where
Right,
he could
he is.
play third, he could play short center, he
Play
could
every
play
position on the
second, he
infield.
could play first.
He play every position on the pitch.
And he could pitch. And if the shortstop gets injured, he could go play shortstop.
And Max will find this guy in the 8th round that you never even heard of that comes
Exactly.
up
Every
a
time.
ringer and he'll hit 600, and that's that. You're gonna get that edge with Max. He
Do
does
we
it.
only have 2 more? Who'd we name? Joe Eschko, Mo Haber, Dano, Farka, Max Sutton, Nate B. I got 2 more. And they're both pretty out there, I gotta tell you the
out
truth.
there?
One of them has been, in his day, which was a long time ago, one of the greatest players in this league.
Moses, you got Moses back in the
Moses
league.
Eastman. No.
it's just sounding like. Can I take a guess?
You're good. You will not get it. Who do you think?
Can I get one more piece of information? Give me
No,
one.
I'm talking about a guy.
Sounds like he's old.
He's been captain before, and he was once the first round pick
Mo
in the
Shannon.
draft 100 years ago.
Mo Shannon.
No.
Allie? You
No.
gonna be an
Good
Allie?
guess. No.
You didn't like my guess, Mo Shannon?
I didn't like your
Seemed
guess. He was captain 2 years ago. Terrible guess.
I wasn't. I was thinking back in the day.
I got a good one.
Oh.
Elder statesman Buka?
No.
Is he in the league?
Not a big
No.
guess.
Younger statesman Buka is in the league.
Okay.
Who else you got, Phil? This guy's playing in the league before I was born, and I'm
Not
39
Saban.
years
Not
old.
Saban.
Not Saban.
Before you were born?
Before I was born, he was
Wow, I
playing
miss
in the league.
Saban. I miss Saban. I miss your guess.
He's playing in the league
That's
for
what I
over
thought.
40 years. He's been a world championship captain, but he hasn't captained in a long
40
time.
years.
I will shock you right now with this captain choice. It's an older gentleman, but someone that you'll want to play for because he's one of the most professional
Is it a
guys.
player coach or a player?
It's a player. It's like a Mo Haber era type of guy is what I'm
Right.
talking about.
You're dealing with 2 young guys over here.
Edward Michonne.
Wow,
Eddie
love that.
Michonne.
I said it.
Love that.
I hope that picked it up. I got it the last second.
Eddie
One yard line.
Michonne is the
Wow.
captain this year. One of the most prepared captains you will find. Before there were spray charts and things on the website, this guy used to show up with. He doesn't care about stats, but he used to know where everyone is hitting the ball and lineups written down. and it's a guy I think that people would want to play for. I think he's extremely fair. He's been on the committee for a few years. I see how much he values the league and is very, very fair and firm in his beliefs. And Eddie Michonne is going to be a captain this year.
I like it.
And I think that one's a shock.
That's a shock. That's a shock. I thought you were going to go for some new blood.
I have some new blood.
Digging back in the well.
I
have some new blood for you to finish it off.
I played with Eddie on DX. Purely, he's one of the most prepared guys. He was dealing with Max and the whole front office. He knows everybody in the league. But will he go for the younger blood, or is he going to go for for a little older? What do you think?
So believe it or not, when he was captain,
when was the last time he was captain?
I think the Cardinals was the last time he was captain. And at that time, he went very young. He took Maxi Deed when he was young, John Eleazar when he was young.
Right.
His whole team was extremely young, except for him, if I recall the roster. So I think he'll go young, but who knows? You never know.
It has the making of that, very balanced youth, veteran, very good mix.
It has the making, but can
he? A positive vibe. You need that.
We'll see how he handles the draft.
But if he's going to draft Saban, Ali, and that whole thing...
I wouldn't think he would do that. I mean, if in the right spot, yeah.
Right.
I don't think he's going to have an inclination towards any player. He knows every young player.
What team was he on last year?
He was on Time, that awful Time team.
He was on Time?
He was on Time. Wasn't he on Time last year? The purple team?
He was on Time.
Yeah.
He was
Terrible
on
team.
Time.
Okay, you wanted some new blood. I gave you Farka.
Farka was an excellent one.
Yeah, now I'm going to give you another new blood, another outfielder. This is number 8. It's an outfielder. So I'm sorry to everyone else that nominated themselves. It was very, very hard decision.
There were a lot of people this year.
Don't give up. Mo Haber nominated himself 3-4 times in a row before he got picked.
Yeah, I give you Pesha's of the world. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Keep throwing your hat in.
Keep putting your hat in. Keep making your case. And another year or two, things could change. You could be captain next year. Who knows? Keep proving yourself. Don't give up on wanting to be a captain just because you didn't get picked this time.
And there's multiple captains on each team. And that goes a long way to becoming captain the next year. You have guys that step up leadership-wise, and that's just...
The last captain in 2022. It's a close vote. I got to tell you the truth. At one point, we were with 12 captains, and we couldn't narrow it down. It was very hard, but we narrowed it down. A first-time captain.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
He's put his time in the league. He's worked hard. He's studied the league. He's playing regularly for 10, 12 years. Doesn't miss weeks. Shows up. Does what's told of him. Gets better and better each year. And I think he knows the league backwards and forwards from my conversations with him. The final captain in 2022 is Elliot Saka's uncle, Bub. Joseph Bub Jamal is a captain this year.
Love it.
He's never been captain before. And
I thought you were about to announce Elliot Saka. I was not prepared.
No, Elliot Saka. That's a self-imposed 10-year ban.
Bob, what a choice.
I think it's a great choice. I should let everybody know that I do not select the captains.
No, it's committee only.
The committee picks the captains. So I love the captains that they picked, but I also love some guys that they didn't pick. And I love some guys that got passed over. But as I explained to everybody, it is not my choice. And the great thing about our committee, if you look at the people that are on it, everyone's from a different group. Everyone comes from a different perspective. Some older, some younger, some of that crowd, some of this crowd. But everyone loves the league. And we tried to do something where there's a wide array of captains. A player enters the draft. You could be on a team with Farka, you could be on a team with Bub or Dano. There's so many different directions that you could go on. But hopefully it's a draft where you say, whoever picks me, I'm gonna have a fun time on that squad.
Awesome. I mean, on that, I agree. I want to harp on the Bub thing for half a second.
Yeah, go for it. Hard.
At least some discussion.
I think, first of all, it's very exciting. You're talking about someone. I think it's very beneficial when a captain can play multiple positions. Yes, Bub is really a right fielder. He's arguably the best right fielder in the league. I mean, now there's a ton of right fielders, so it's hard to say that. But
you could say he changed the position of right field because it used to be that the right fielders couldn't catch a fly ball, and now they all are phenomenal.
Now every hitter goes to right.
There's two things to say that. Number one, that points to the league. I mean, look at the hours people put into the league. Kevin is currently booked solid from now through the season.
You're talking about one of our league sponsors.
Correct.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know he was league
Kevin's
sponsor.
a league sponsor.
Kevin is a league sponsor.
Great. Okay.
And if you want to hit like the guys that he coaches, like one Jacobatti, for
Did
instance,
you make a commercial?
go to Kevin because that guy is a supporter of our league.
I started hitting with Kevin
Yes.
over the last few months.
We're not advertising that. He
He's
wants
even
more
taking
business,
some
not less.
pictures. Pictures.
Really?
Pitches are starting to go to Kevin. So
He could do
Kevin
everything.
he knows every hitter's. He knows every hitter.
And don't sleep on Andrew. Andrew's phenomenal.
Andrew's
also.
great, too.
Andrew is great.
Great.
Okay, so yes.
Bub, as I was saying, it's very beneficial, I think, because he could take his team and kind of mold it around himself. I mean, he's talking about someone that's a premier outfielder, realistically center field and right field. Left fielder as a lefty is a little strange. I wouldn't think you'd do that.
Arms,
But-
I don't know if his arms for left. Yeah.
Fair enough. Point is that you have someone now with a tremendous amount of knowledge about the league. He is very involved. He's been on the show with us. He's at every game. When he's eliminated from the playoffs, he comes to the playoffs. You're talking about someone,
Meteorologist.
and
Yes.
meteorologist, talking about someone that really, really wants to win. I'm looking forward to see how he creates his team.
I am also looking forward
I
to
don't
that.
know how he's going to create his team.
Then you have a guy like the flexible guys. You have a guy like Max Sutton. We spoke about
Very
his
flexible.
flexibility
He
on
can
where
play
he can
first
play.
for all we know.
Yeah. What about Joe Eschko? Where's he going to play? Who knows where he's going to put himself? Eddie Michonne, first base. He could DH, whatever it is. You have a lot of You have a lot of guys that are flexible.
I wouldn't say some of those are so flexible. I think Eddie's base is pretty much first base. I would say Joe Eschko is pretty much second base or
Is he?
short center. I mean, I assume his arm isn't what I mean. His
Who
arm.
knows? Maybe
Second
he's
base.
good
If his
now.
arm is back, then of course he can play shortstop. I mean, he's good fielder.
He was always shortstop until middle of the year
But he
last
hurt his
year.
arm.
Okay, but it's not permanent.
But from
It's
the year, even from the
months.
year before, the arm issue was an issue the year before. You're talking about 2 years. Of arm
Okay,
issues.
long off season though. He
I
could
think
be-
Bob's
sure.
going to center his team around rah-rah, positive morale. He has that exposed DNA where it's not talent purely. It's going to be a great blend, and I played with him last year. He could fire a team up. He has that captain in him, no doubt about it. We'll just see how he structures the team, but I think it's a great one.
Yeah.
These 8 are all at the end of the
It's a great
day.
8.
I think they're leader of men is where they
Yes.
are, which is what you have
Leader
to be.
of men.
You
Interesting.
got to be a leader of men.
No
You
one
wanna
is
win
saying
the
like,
league,
damn, I don't want to play with that guy this
No,
year.
not one.
No, all of them. Yeah,
Not one.
would
You
love to
might
play.
say this guy's more exciting. This guy's more.
Most pressure, I'd
Conservative,
say,
whatever it is.
is on Naby. If he doesn't have
I
a good
agree.
year this year, you're talking about a steady decline like one we've never seen, where he won the World Series and didn't get to the World Series and didn't get the
He's
playoffs.
such a
Is
gamer.
he the only
He's
pitcher?
such a
He's the only
gamer.
pitcher.
He's the
now?
only pitcher right
Wow.
now because no A.B. Saka finally.
Wow.
So Naby has a ton of pressure. And Eddie Michonne also, elder statesman, later round
He has
guy.
nothing to lose though. He's gonna,
He's
I'll
got to
put-
draft a team that's going to play for him, though.
right.
He's got to draft a
I
team
think
that's
he's
going
got
to
to
buy
go
into
young.
his way.
He's got to go young. He's got to have an inflection of youth in that on that team. Just speed. Speed wins. You need speed. You need youth.
Speed and defense is what I always say wins.
This Bub team, I don't know how he's gonna, I don't know what he's gonna do. I just don't, I don't know because think about Bub he's been on many teams that have similar blueprints, but they weren't his teams. I don't know if he's gonna be a little bit drawn towards that, like the Mo Shaman.
Listen, it's a step up.
or if he's not, I don't know what he's going to do.
It's a
very
big step.
exciting.
I remember being captain of the Expo.
Very exciting.
And we came together as the season went. Everybody ended
I
up
watched
buying
almost every
in.
game of that season.
You did,
Expos.
you did,
That was
and
great.
that was my first year being captain, and it's very nerve wracking in the beginning. You got to draft a team and hope these guys are going to listen to you.
Yeah.
And when Bub's a mid round pick, he's going to have a lot of guys that are better than him at softball, and he's got to be the captain and say, no, you're batting third, not second.
Also,
you know?
there's pressure on these new captains for an early start.
Yes.
You start off 0-4, 1-3 out of the gate. There's like Mo Haber
So
0-4
true.
last year, but he sees it. He's been around the block. He knows what he knew what he needed to be done, but
He also did a fire sale. I mean, that could have.
yeah,
I mean, he did
but
great.
it benefited him.
But
Sure.
if you spoke to him at the time, he was dead set on making a deal. He knew he had to shake it up, and he never gave up on the season. It was
Yes.
it was like a veteran 0-4.
Exactly.
Although
you have
Farka-
a rookie 0-4, it could be a train wreck.
Farka 0-4, could that be a train wreck? Yeah, you could get age-old Farka that's throwing helmets again and everything.
And,
You never know what.
since the Norm NRJ takeover, it seems to be a new Farka.
Farka is, to
So
me,
good.
how could you find a better player than
Right,
Farka?
no, he's got all the intangibles.
He has everything. He has the
IQ.
tangibles also. He's in everything.
IQ, he's got the raw, his bat, his glove.
You see that guy swing a bat, it's whoop, level, power.
Who do you think is the best player in the league?
Well, you have you have your baddies. You have Zach who plays short. I think someone that plays short is extremely valuable just on that alone.
Especially at that level.
You know?
People play short, but then there's playing short at Zach's level.
Exactly, and Zach's range also is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
You can't sleep on Shalou, but when you're up and you need a big bomb, I want Farka up. I mean, that guy's just come through time and time again. Boys, for Elliot Saka, for Saul Towell, I'm Norman Jamal. Those are your 8 captains. Draft is right around the corner. Wednesday night,
Take the cages.
February
Get
23rd.
in those cages.
Wow.
Jackie Jay-Z draftologist Zolta is back.
Wow.
Sandy, league historian, is back. Elliot El Dongo Anthony, game of the week, is back. So you have the whole crew coming together
Everyone
again.
re-signed. Everyone re-signed.
Everyone
Incredible.
re-signed, and we can't wait for the 2022 season. Thank you, Alana and Elliot, for hosting us, and we will see you on draft night. Thank you.